Taehyung and Jungkook were seen at the airport returning from New York to Korea. Their arrival was warmly welcomed by Army, while tight security ensured their safety. The Taekook duo had completed all their activities in the United States, and now it is only a matter of days before a major event in Korea with the other BTS members. The warm welcome from Army at the airport was incredibly lively, creating a loud and chaotic atmosphere. Fans cheered passionately as the two idols made their way through the crowd. The love and connection between Taehyung and Jungkook, now visible to the world, felt truly extraordinary. Watch the continuation of this video and don't miss it. Before we start, make sure you're ready to love this moments. Welcome to V Effect. The atmosphere at Incheon International Airport that afternoon suddenly turned lively as the arrival of a flight from New York flashed across the digital screens. Hundreds of fans and media crews had already filled the arrival area, forming a human barricade that left only a narrow pathway in the middle. The tension began to build as dozens of security officers in dark uniforms formed a circular formation, preparing to welcome the two iconic figures everyone had been eagerly waiting to return to Seoul. Taehyung appeared first, walking calmly while still radiating an undeniable star aura. He seemed to be trying to conceal his identity, wearing a black mask that covered most of his face along with a gray hoodie pulled over his head. Even though only his eyes were visible beneath slightly messy strands of hair, his gaze reflected the natural exhaustion of a long intercontinental journey. Right behind him, Jungkook walked briskly, occasionally lowering his head to avoid the blinding flashes of cameras. Security around them was extremely tight, with guards linking arms to ensure that no crowd could break into their personal space. The two occasionally exchanged brief glances, as if reassuring each other that they remained within a safe distance amid the noise of hysterical fans calling out their names. The sound of hurried footsteps and the constant clicking of cameras followed them as they made their way toward the airport exit. Taehyung occasionally adjusted the strap of his bag while tightening his gray hoodie, while Jungkook continued walking steadily under the guidance of security personnel. Once they entered the waiting pickup car in the lobby, the atmosphere gradually calmed, leaving a lasting impression of the return of these two major stars to their homeland after completing their schedule in the United States. Their steps now felt lighter as they walked across the glossy marble floors of the airport, leaving behind the exhaustion of their packed schedule in New York. Despite being surrounded by a solid security barricade, Taehyung and Jungkook appeared far more relaxed compared to their departure days earlier. A faint smile hidden behind Taehyung's mask could be seen from the creases at the corners of his eyes, signaling his relief after successfully delivering their best performances to the American public through major media appearances. Amid the bustling scene, a warm moment was captured by thousands of camera lenses from every direction. Taehyung naturally reached for Jungkook's hand, holding it firmly as they walked side by side toward the pickup area. That simple gesture became an anchor in the storm of airport chaos, showing the strength of their bond and mutual support after fighting together on the international stage. Fans filling the arrival lobby welcomed them with more organized cheers this time, as if respecting the calm presence the two idols radiated. Armies brought various welcome banners, yet they maintained a safe distance, allowing Taehyung and Jungkook to enjoy their return without pressure. A sense of emotion filled the room as the two walked casually, occasionally waving at the crowd as a gesture of gratitude for the unwavering support. Still wearing his favorite gray hoodie, Taehyung occasionally whispered something into Jungkook's ear, which was met with a firm nod and a restrained laugh. They no longer looked like megastars racing against time, but rather like two friends who had just returned home from a long journey. The presence of security no longer felt intimidating, but instead served as protection for the private space they created amid the crowd. As they approached the automatic doors leading to the outer lobby, their hands remained tightly clasped, symbolizing their shared success on the world stage. The cool Seoul air that greeted them as the doors opened felt like the warmest welcome. With calm steps and full hearts, they finally entered the vehicle that would take them to rest, leaving behind a sweet memory that would continue to be talked about by everyone who witnessed their return that day. Inside the soundproof cabin of the car, the noise of fans outside instantly disappeared, replaced by the quiet hum of the air conditioning. Taehyung leaned his head back against the seat, slowly removing his black mask and taking a deep breath, savoring the familiar scent of Seoul he had missed. His gray hoodie wrapped warmly around his tired body, Yet his eyes reflected deep satisfaction after a marathon of interviews with major media outlets in New York. Jungkook, seated beside him, briefly checked his phone, watching clips of their recent appearances that had already gone viral worldwide. He smiled softly, seeing how ARMY welcomed their return with such order and affection. Without many words, he rested his shoulder against Taehyung's, a natural gesture that showed how they relied on each other to stay grounded amid overwhelming fame. They spoke quietly about funny moments from their time in American TV studios, recalling how nervous they had been before the spotlight turned on. Taehyung occasionally chuckled, mentioning how much he craved home-cooked meals after days of Western food. The conversation flowed naturally, far from the formality of work, revealing their side as ordinary young men who had just completed a major task. The car continued moving through Seoul's streets, now illuminated by city lights that cast dancing shadows across their faces through the darkened windows. Taehyung occasionally looked outside, taking in the familiar scenery, feeling grateful to have returned safely with new achievements. Their success on the international stage was not just about numbers or records, but about the personal journey they had shared as companions. As the car approached their residence, the atmosphere inside grew quieter and more serene. Both of them gradually drifted into a light sleep in their seats, allowing their bodies a brief rest before returning to their routines back home. This homecoming felt especially meaningful, not because of the tight security or the roaring cheers, but because they knew that wherever they were in the world, they would always have each other to return to. Now that they had set foot back in their homeland, time seemed to move faster for Taehyung and Jungkook. They had little opportunity to simply rest in the comfort of their beds, as a series of major schedules already awaited them. Within just a few days, they were set to return to the grand stage in Seoul, marking the comeback of these two global icons to local fans eager to witness the new energy they brought back from the United States. The training room floors at their agency building bore silent witness to their packed schedules from dawn until late at night. Taehyung, still often seen wearing his favorite gray hoodie to keep warm, looked intensely focused on perfecting every choreography move. Despite the demanding performance schedule requiring high stamina, his spirit remained unwavering. If anything, he seemed even more motivated to showcase his artistic growth after appearing in major international media. Meanwhile, Jungkook was just as busy ensuring every vocal detail and stage transition was executed flawlessly. They had to prepare multiple stage concepts for a series of upcoming concerts and television appearances. Amid intense coordination with the production team and backup dancers, they occasionally took short moments to discuss things in a corner of the room, aligning their vision to ensure their performances remained cohesive and captivating as always. The tension leading up to the big day could be felt throughout the entire building, yet Taehyung and Jungkook handled it with remarkable professionalism. Their nearly non-stop schedule became proof that dedication to their craft remained their top priority. With thorough preparation and strong team coordination, they were ready to return to the Korean music stage, bringing the story of their success in New York to be fully dedicated to the loyal fans who had been waiting for their return. As the final moments before their return to the stage drew closer, the backstage atmosphere grew thick with anticipation, both thrilling and deeply emotional. Taehyung and Jungkook understood that every drop of sweat shed in the practice room was a tribute to the fans who had faithfully awaited their return from New York. With increasingly refined coordination and unshakable chemistry, they were ready to transform their exhaustion into a masterpiece performance that would leave a lasting impression on who witnessed it. The stadium lights being prepared seemed to symbolize a new glow in their ever-rising global career. Despite their demanding and physically exhausting schedule, both remained remarkably composed, as if any obstacle could be overcome as long as they stood side by side. Their return to Seoul was not merely a homecoming, but the beginning of a grander new chapter, one where the international achievements they carried would be celebrated on their home soil. In the end, this return was sealed with an unspoken promise to continue giving their best to the world of music. Taehyung, with his charismatic charm, and Jungkook, with his golden talent, had proven that the thousands of miles between New York and Seoul were merely numbers, because their hearts were always devoted to the stage and their supporters. When the stage curtain finally rises, all eyes will be on them, welcoming back two great stars who have conquered the world and are now ready to shine even brighter at home. Leave your positive comments here. The best comment will be pinned as a way to honor their love. Thank you to everyone who continues to support this channel. May God reward all of your kindness. This video reflects my personal opinion and interpretation. It is made for entertainment purposes only and does not represent confirmed facts.